Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Algorithms and Flowchart Light Academia. In this series of videos, I will try to explain algorithm and flowchart easier and more understandable way. If you like the videos, please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone. Our example is about a simple loop procedure in algorithm and flowchart today. Let's start reading it. Write an algorithm and draw the flowchart that will ask the user to enter 5 integer numbers from the keyboard. So in here, the user is going to enter 5 integer numbers. The algorithm will find and print the average of entered numbers. The user is going to enter 5 integer numbers and the output will be the average of them. So how we are going to know the number of inputs and number of variables in this case? We are going to ask the user to enter 5 integer numbers, but as the variable name, we will declare only one variable. Because if the question was said to us, please enter 1000 numbers or 100 integer numbers or 20 integer numbers, we wouldn't say integer number 1, integer number 2, integer number 3 till the amount of numbers will be entered. We are going to declare only one number in here, one variable in here, and we will put each number into the same place. And after that, the output will be the average. Average will be calculated by calculating the summation of the entered numbers and dividing it to 5. So in this case, since there is a division, average will be a float number. But in order to calculate the average, we need to calculate the summation. And the question says us, please enter 5 integer numbers. That's why the program, the algorithm, needs to count the total entered numbers in this case. So we need to keep a track how many numbers will be entered. In this case, we are going to calculate the summation in order to calculate the average, and we need to count how many numbers will be entered, which is going to be another input variable. Actually, which is not going to be the input. Summation and count are not going to be entered by the user, but these are summation and count will be our main variables that we will use in the algorithm. So let's start our algorithm. Step number 0, start. Step number 1, declare your variables. I have number, just one variable, but 5 numbers will be assigned to that location. I have summation. Initial value of the summation is 0. We need to clear the memory for this one. And the count is again 0, no number is entered at the beginning. Summation is 0, count is 0. We cleared the content of the memory. And then we have the float average. Since the variable and the data type is different of that variable name, I used in here as a float, so float average. And in step number 2, what the question says, ask the user to enter 5 numbers. We will enter only for once, but the program, the algorithm will repeat it for many times. How many times? 5 times it will be repeated. So I am saying that enter a number. What is the variable name for the number? Which is num. You may write it in here. Okay, we ask the user to enter the number, and the next thing is, it says that enter 5 integer numbers. So the user enters one number, but the algorithm will check how many numbers will be entered. So in here, the algorithm needs to count how many numbers will be entered. New value of the count equal to old value of the count plus 1, which means that whenever the user enters a number, count will be increased by 1. Number entry and then count it. Simply counting one by one. And in the step number 4, after the user enters a number and counting it, it is time to calculate the summation. New summation will be equal to old summation plus our number. So in here, we simply enter a number in the step number 2. After the number entry, in the step number 3, we simply counted how many numbers will be entered. And after that, we calculated the summation of it. Then it is time to continue. What we are going to do in here, it needs to check how many numbers entered, and do we have to stop? Do we have to continue? Continue for repeating the statements. So it is time to check with the if statement in here. If the total number of elements, which is count, if the count less than 5, which means that if the user enters less than 5 numbers, this is very important in here. If the user enters less than 5 numbers, we need to repeat the steps. So if the user enters less than 5 numbers, we need to go to step number 2 to repeat all the statements. So there is a loop in here. There is a looping process. It says that the user is going to enter 5 numbers, exactly 5 numbers. If the user enters less than 5 numbers, go to the beginning, enter new numbers, count them, calculate the summation, and check it again. If the user enters again less than 5 numbers, repeat all the processes one more time. If not, the otherwise part, when we go out of the loop in the step number 6, if the user enters 5 numbers, the count last value is 5, 5 less than 5, which is false. So if it is false, go to the step number 6, go out of the loop. So this is the true part, and in the step number 6, we simply exit the loop. So in here, average calculation is required. Average equal to, we already calculated the summation in step number 4. I am writing in here, summation divided by how many numbers will be entered, exactly 5 numbers. So average is calculated in here. And in the step number 7, we simply print the average. And in the step number 8, we end the algorithm as we always do. Now, there is a loop in here, there is a repeating process. As long as this statement is true, loop continues. Otherwise, we exit out of the loop. What about the flowchart? We know that we start with the oval shape. Step number 1. So in here we have all variable declaration. Variable declarations are done by using a rectangle. After that, in step number 2, we are going to enter a number by using a trapezoidal shape. Step number 2. Step number 3, we have a count incrementation in here, increase the count by 1. So this is a rectangle, mathematical calculation. Step number 4, summation. So summation is a mathematical calculation in here in the step number 4. Another rectangle. In step number 5, we have the decision statement, and the diamond shape will be used in here. So if the statement, if count less than 5 is true, we need to go to step number 2. So in here, we simply put an arrow. We say that go to step number 2. Otherwise, we come here, we go out of the loop, which is the step number 6. In the step number 6, average calculation is written, mathematical expression, so a rectangle is required in here. And in the step number 7, we print the average with a parallelogram. And in the step number 8, so I put oval shape, another oval shape in here. All right, so simply put the connection symbols to connect all the steps together. So that's it. It's done. What we have done in here, basically, I would like to say it briefly. The question says enter 5 integer numbers and calculate the average. We calculate the average in here. Yes, it is fine, but there is a loop in here which simply counts that how many numbers will be entered by the user. So if you liked the video, please don't forget to subscribe it. Don't forget to like it. Thank you very much and see you in the other videos. Bye bye.